North Carolina keeps losing me money because I keep betting against North Carolina. I need to stop doing this. It should have been a resolution in the new year. Well, they are playing host. They're back home after 3 straight road wins, comfortable road wins, dare I say. They're back home against Syracuse, who has been good at times this year, has also been pretty catastrophic at times this year. I'm coming into this game for the first time this year, Brian. Jesus, I keep calling you Brian. Connor. I'm coming into this game for the first time this year saying that I'm not going to doubt North Carolina at all. I have no reason to believe this shouldn't be like a blowout 30-point Carolina win. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. Selfishly, I hope Syracuse wins because Syracuse is right now the best win that Gonzaga has had all season. And me being a Gonzaga alum, I want them to continue to win and figure out their offense consistently enough. But UNC is the enigma this season because they are clearly a top 10 team in the country. But like outside of RJ Davis and Armando Bacot, and maybe you could make an argument for Harrison Ingram, like their players have not been jumping off the screen at me, yet the team is so good. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why you probably keep betting against North Carolina. A lot of people keep doubting North Carolina. They've kind of slowly worked their way into the top 10, but I don't think they're jumping off the page at anybody screaming like national title contender. And it's because you don't really hear about their individual players all that often as much as you do just the team continuing to win, continuing to get big wins, and continuing to look good over the last month.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's weird. It's like the sum of the parts are better than the parts, but the parts are pretty good themselves. Like when we do go through it name by name, like Armando Bacot's great. RJ Davis has been awesome. Harrison Ingram's really good. Outside of that, I mean, yeah, there is some stuff that I think you wish was a little more polished, maybe a little more athleticism. But Elliot Cadeau is coming into his own. Cormac Ryan has been good at times this year for sure. He needs to start making shots like he's capable of, but depth is maybe the only concern. But I guess the thing for me is I kept fading them at least last week because I'm a big believer in like schedule losses and tough spots. And I thought the ACC schedule makers screwed them. I thought they opened up with 3 straight road games that, you know, Clemson's a good basketball team. NC State's a rivalry game. For that to be your 3rd straight road game, like I expected some sort of letdown somewhere along the way. And instead, Carolina just kind of like kept getting better and more energized as these games went on. And when I compare them to Syracuse, like if I try to envision what's the path forward for Syracuse here to win this basketball game, I think it would start with saying, well, Judah Mintz is as talented as any North Carolina player. JJ Starling is good enough to play a big role on North Carolina. Like they've got dudes. The problem is that it's not about the dudes with Carolina, like you said. It's about how they fit together. It's about how well they play, how unselfish they are. And you can't say that for Syracuse. Even in Syracuse wins this year, it's been like, hero ball Judah Mintz, figure it out for us. And sometimes that works, but they're not exactly the most cohesive team.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think, tough for Syracuse to beat because we mentioned it. This is a team effort from North Carolina. So it's not like they can win an individual matchup and win because North Carolina, for the most part, has been just really solid 1 through 5, at least in the starting lineup through the 6th man, right? And I don't know. I don't think McLeod is playing for Syracuse. I mean, he hasn't been good anyways, but you want someone with his size at least giving you some minutes in this game. And he's further proof that Zach Edey's not just tall. But, you know, I think without that size in the middle and the minutes that he does just kind of provide you or provide Syracuse, like you're relying on 30 points from Mintz to win this game. Like, what does Mintz have to score to win this game? Because it's not a good offensive team for Syracuse, and North Carolina is a really good offensive team. They put up 90 something against Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. I think Mintz could go for 25 in this game, and I think he could just be completely nullified with RJ Davis. And then you're still probably 10 to 15 points short of Carolina just because of who everybody else is. So, yeah, I really do think they're going to need like a hero ball superstar-esque game. And look, I really like Judah Mintz. I know I took a little half joking jab at his hero ball tendencies and comparing that to the unselfish play of North Carolina, but he needs to do that on this team. Even though JJ Starling is, I like him as a counterpart to him. Like Judah Mintz is the only guy on this team that's wired to just put the orange thing in the 10-foot thing, and he's gifted at that. And at the beginning of the year, he was doing it damn near every game to the tune of like 23 points or more. He had 33 in the win against LSU. They looked great. 28 against Cornell, 25 against Georgetown. Well, it's been 5 straight games under 20. And for most people, like 18-point nights is good. For Judah Mintz, like they kind of need more from you than that. Like in the Duke game, I felt like he was kind of floating at times, and he floated his way to 18 points. So for me, if Mintz can get them like truly like 30, upwards of 30, then I'll be like, okay, Syracuse has a shot. I think anything short of that, I think this is a comfortable Carolina win.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina has the experience advantage. They have the talent advantage. Even though they're not that deep, like Syracuse doesn't have a depth advantage really, especially not with McLeod playing. So like the only advantage Syracuse had was size. Again, they don't have that really in this game, at least not at the 5 anymore. I don't see I just don't see a path for Syracuse to win this game on the road.
Yeah.
If it was in the Carrier Dome, sure, but not on the road.
Yep. Unless they like really grime it up. Like they have an okay defense, but I think the Carolina offense at home is going to be way too powerful to see that game script play out. So I'm right there with you. All right, let's go formal prediction mode. And then I have one toss up for you to end our recordings today. We have Ken Palm calling this a 14-point North Carolina win. I believe the sports books have North Carolina favored by 12.5 at home. What side would you bet? And I think we both have Carolina winning the game.
I'd take Carolina minus the points and then some. I'd probably go they won all 3 games on the road to start the conference season by double digits. Syracuse, I don't know if they're the worst of their first, I guess they played Florida State in December, but their first 4 games of the conference season. So I'm going to go Carolina by 18 to 20.
I like it 20 plus. I have visions of the Tennessee win at home where Carolina just could not miss. They were unstoppable against one of the best defenses in the country. Syracuse is not that. They've got an okay defense. They've got a great player. I think Carolina's a wagon, and the sooner people realize that, the better, including myself. My one toss up for you before we wrap. I think Carolina has separated themselves. They are the only 4-0 team in the ACC right now. Duke is right on their heels, obviously at 3-1, and those games are still to come. But from my side, I would be shocked if North Carolina doesn't win this conference. Do you share that opinion with me?
Yeah. I think North Carolina is built to win this conference. Duke's path really is, can we get good enough and then just win the conference tournament, which is the only thing that matters in the ACC, and then to claim that. But I think start to finish, North Carolina is gonna be the best. I'm gonna toss this over to you, given our track record and the fact that I want Syracuse to win tomorrow. When is North Carolina's first loss in ACC play?
Ooh, it's not Syracuse or Louisville. It's not at Boston College, although that one wouldn't shock me if they just catch them on like a totally sleepy Saturday afternoon game. But man, you're looking after that. They have a really friendly schedule. Wake at home, Florida State, Georgia Tech away. Then it's finally Duke, Clemson at home. But like they're gonna be favored in all these games, man. Oh boy. This sounds crazy. I'm gonna say it's not until February. The first game in February is Duke. I think they will drop one of Duke or Clemson at home.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna say Virginia on the road, February 24th, but
Wow.
I'm going far out. Um, again, hoping that they lose tomorrow. So or today, whenever this video is released, they lose Saturday. So no, but really, I mean, it's such a friendly schedule through January. You mentioned it's gonna if they lose to Duke or Clemson, I think it's going to be Clemson, just because you know you don't overlook Duke. I think Duke's going to be a really good game. You're going to be coming off a huge win, probably a tough win, and then you have to turn it around 3 days later to play Clemson on a Tuesday.
Mhm.
So I think the house is going to be packed on Saturday. It's going to be tough to duplicate that environment against Clemson. So
Yeah. As much as I love UNC and I'm gassing them up right now, they better enjoy January, this next little 6-game stretch, because their February schedule's crazy now that we look. Duke home, Clemson home, at Miami, at Syracuse. Those are not the easiest games. Virginia Tech at Virginia. Like that's your February. That's a really tough month, man. But I believe in this team. I think they're going to win the league, and I would not be surprised to see them win any of these games, despite the Connor and Greg curse. We've done this 1,000 times. And whenever we play the when will their next loss come game, they lose the next game. So that was devious by you, Mr. Gonzaga fan. That was very devious. That's Connor Hope from Heat Check CBB. I'm Greg Waddell, Sleepers Media. Click subscribe so you can see all the videos on the channel. We'll have recaps up at the end of this weekend.